By now, you are aware of the male ego driven by status, attention, respect, recognition, and action. Men feel a sense of belonging and comfort when they receive attention from others, and the male ego can perish under certain phrases and will make him lose trust in a relationship. And it would take a long time, if at all, for him to rebuild this trust. So let's look into what you should never say to a guy. Here we go, like and subscribe. So you've not done anything all day. This could be in the context to you realizing he spent all day sitting on his behind playing video games. In this tone, he will feel accused of relaxing and hate the fact that you are making this a huge deal. Remember, guys need to figure things out. That's how they relax, which is why they enjoy tinkering around with stereotypical male things like cars, electronics, etc. Whereas instead for us ladies, we need to talk to people to distress. For sure, we feel guilty when we sit around doing nothing all day, as, let's face it, we have endless to-do lists to complete. Whereas with a guy, he will find it much easier to put everything on hold and have his self-care escapism time whilst playing video games. But of course, if he hasn't done the things that he said he would do, then a gentle reminder of, "Did you take the trash out?" is far better than a passive-aggressive statement. We need to talk. A guy will immediately think, damn, this is the breakup talk. You may just want to have a serious sit down and tell him off for putting the empty milk jug back into the fridge. Refrain from saying this sentence, as he will panic about it until he has chance to speak with you again. It happens to everyone. You know exactly what I'm talking about, ladies. Letting him know that he is now part of a selective group of men that also have this exact problem is going to make him feel that this isn't going to be a one-time issue. Remember, a guy values sex and it makes him feel powerful. So when things play out less than perfect, it will be a huge dent to his ego. He won't just shrug it off like we can with that was a little bit underwhelming, however, let's just catch up with Love Island. Do I look fat in this? As soon as you have finished that last syllable, his head is filled with dread. There really is no safe way out of this. With social media making everyone quote Sir Mix-a-Lot and worship larger than life proportions, does your bum look big in this or not? Is he supposed to praise you for looking thin? It's a tricky one, because if he says the wrong thing, there is a risk of him having to wait until you find something else to change into. Something else that makes you feel comfortable, and of course if he tells you that you look less than your ideal size, you will feel bad about it for weeks. So make this question male friendly. Babes, dress with the thin straps or dress with the thick straps? It's just a game. Remember that endless to-do list I mentioned before? Well, I don't think guys realise that women don't really switch off as easily as men can. We can't just sit there without thinking, damn it Darren, you have a dentist appointment tomorrow at 12 o'clock, did you forget? So when you see your man watching a sports game, it probably gives you that icky feeling because he's shouting, cheering at men running around in shorts, whilst there is a huge pile of laundry that needs to be done and the cat has still not been fed. It feels easy to say, it's just a game, get over yourself, but the psychology behind this is a lot deeper than a woman understands. Men need to de-stress by getting out of their heads and have space. Now this space time could be, like we mentioned before, washing his car, tending to electronic work, reading a comic, or watching a sports game. If a man, believe this or not, is stressed to deal with his own problems, instead of, which yes may not make sense to us guys, he instead adopts another problem to take his mind off the original problem. So for example, if Tom is stressed out because he is overwhelmed by his workload, there's nothing he can do to change the fact that he still has a lot of work to do when he gets into the office. He will de-stress in the evenings by taking on the problems of his favourite sports team. Because, well yeah, them getting into the final is a huge problem, that's now his problem. So he's going to take it personally. He's going to become glued to the TV, cheering alongside the other fans and feeling a sense of pride and victory when they win, or depression and shame if they lose. I wish you were like him. You are watching a man do something very cute on a TV program and you instantly turn to your partner and you say, "Babes, I wish you did stuff like this." TV partnerships are fake and scripted to look uber romantic, and in real life, everyone makes mistakes. If you want your partner to be more romantic, tell him what he needs to do, literally a step by step, rather than being passive about him not living up to your expectations. You're not that strong, probably a shot straight to his heart. Yes, he may be overcompensating his strength sometimes by assuming he can pick up something and you know for sure he can't. However, you don't need to make it obvious, just let him struggle in silence. Or maybe he actually can lift that super heavy object, yet you think he is weaker than he actually is. You aren't that tall. Guys feel that their height makes them more attractive, and any emotionally stable female knows that it doesn't matter if a guy is 5'5" or 6'5", he can still be a terrible boyfriend. No, I'm kidding. But height, come on, it really isn't that much of a big deal. But to guys, it kind of is the be all or end all. So calling out a guy for being short will bruise his ego. Even if you put on a pair of high heels for that night out, you are going to make it obvious you are now taller than him, and he's not going to like it. Is your hairline receding? This is just as painful as being too short. A guy doesn't want to know if he is starting the transformation of aging. Never mention a guy's hairline. It makes them feel very uncomfortable if you ever talk about it. You know, you are like a brother to me. Maybe you and this guy are not quite an item yet. Perhaps you are starting to open up and feel comfortable in front of him. Now, the worst thing that you could do is to say, "You know what, you feel like a brother to me." This is going to be a huge turn off for him and something he will be thinking about for a very, very, very long time. My ex used to... Comparing your current partner or potentially new partner to an ex is very emotionally damaging to the person you're talking to. It makes the other person feel that they are inadequate, and regardless of how much they try to improve, they will never make it out on top. Sometimes you may say this without realizing, "My ex used to make the best carbonara, it was delicious." Now that probably sounds pretty harmful, right? However, you can expect your guy to immediately start hating carbonara or try to Pinterest the best recipe to win you over with his version of his carbonara. You should hang out with this person. Maybe you have a really good male friend and you want your partner to hang out with him because, duh, it makes sense. You both have a great sense of humor and you could hang out all at the same time. Or maybe you would love for your partner to have a great relationship with your dad or brother. Now, it sounds romantic on the surface, but deep down, your man doesn't want to feel forced to hang out with someone. He may see this as slightly controlling behavior and find it very, very off-putting. You're wearing that. His focus may not be into fashion, and if not, it probably means he shops for comfort and likes the clothes he already owns. Pulling him up for his bad fashion sense is very unkind. It's going to make him feel self-conscious about everything he owns, and why would he want to take you out somewhere nice if he feels his clothing is not up to scratch? You kind of end up punishing yourself. If he really does have some embarrassing shirts, you can gently say, "Babes, you know what? I think blue suits you best. It makes you look super handsome." This is the start of him wanting to wear blue to impress you and maybe even start buying some blue shirts. Sowing a seed is far better than pointing out something that is very, very wrong.